it is kind of strange. I think maybe the people most surprised about it would be my parents. But the I was a math science kid and a jock. I played soccer and baseball all through high school and all through college, Division II college, and went to college, in fact, as a math major. But as a kid, I took piano lessons from in Rochester, New York. From I used to, my piano teacher lived in the street behind me, so I used to cut through to take my lessons. And she was perfect for me. And in fact, I still see her when I go back to Rochester. I see her every now and then. And she's now in her 80s. But she was the one who really kind of listened to me, and she understood I had a love of. The first time I heard Bach, she saw my little light go on, and so she made me go in that direction a little bit. And I played in a rock band in high school. I was in a group called the Highlanders, and then it was the boys, and then we got a girl singer, so it was the boys plus. Don't get me started. Okay, anyway, that it's it was we weren't very good. So anyway, but it was. But then I became a Beatles guy. I had Bach, Beatles, and baseball were my three Bs when I was growing up. So in undergraduate school, I was a math major at Union College in Schenectady, not really knowing where it was headed, but also knowing that music was maybe my passion, I guess. And soon after that, I found out that at my end of my freshman year that the creativity I thought was going to happen in math actually was not happening. And plus, I got into abstract systems in math, and that was a good lesson of what I didn't want to be doing. So then I changed to be a music major, but there wasn't such a thing. So because it was a very small department, and I became a fine arts major with an emphasis in music. In the last year of my college career, I had been for the preceding year and a half the stage manager, personnel manager, and librarian for the school orchestra, which was a combined school and community orchestra. And I begged for a period long enough, apparently, to be annoying enough to actually get my first chance to conduct, which happened in my senior year. There's actually a picture of that event, and maybe I can someday I'll show you that. But anyway, I'm not necessarily a person that believes in mystical events, but when I conducted for the first time, my musical self and my athletic self seemed to meet. I was comfortable with the physicality that was involved in conducting. I was not self-conscious on the podium, at least not physically, to begin, and it kind of gave me the thought that I might do this, especially because my piano career was never going to be a soloist career. I was never going to spend that much time in a practice room that would be necessary to be good enough. So, between college and graduate school, I was a newspaper reporter in my hometown for a year. I took a gap year, which is called a gap year now. I took a year off back then, but now it's called a gap year. And I reported on high school sports and weddings, bar mitzvahs, whatever they needed me to do. And then they finally let me do some arts reporting. And I reviewed Broadway. I reviewed some shows that came in town, some rock and roll shows. And then they finally let me go and review the Rochester Philharmonic Orchestra, which is my hometown band. And while doing that, one of the concerts I reviewed was conducted by Isaiah Jackson, who was the associate conductor of the Rochester Philharmonic. And he and I became friends. And as it turns out, he was doing the job that I thought I wanted to do. And he, on the other hand, had never done a single athletic thing in his life. So he said to me, I want to learn how to play squash, which is a court game, racquetball with different equipment. And if you'll teach me how to play squash, I'll barter with you and I'll give you some conducting lessons and take you through the Brahms symphonies. So that happened, and it was Isaiah that told me about a gentleman named Daniel Lewis, who was the teacher of conducting at the University of Southern California. And it was from Isaiah that I learned about Daniel Lewis, and I applied and eventually went to graduate school at the University of Southern California.